I used to want Will Smith to be my father. All right, so this is gonna break my heart,
Once
but
upon a time,
it's saying Will Smith just got exposed, and it's really weird.
Smith was one of the most beloved actors in Hollywood. He starred in some of the biggest blockbuster films, making him one of the most notable lead actors of the 2000s and 2010s. But in recent years, his likability has soured after many revelations that tarnished his reputation. He went from a beloved Hollywood leading man to the laughingstock of the internet, thanks in part to his
I used to blame Jada.
wife Jada Smith, who publicly revealed her
I'm like,
out-of-marriage
man, you gotta get away
escapades
from that
with other
girl.
men,
She crazy.
turning
She
Will Smith
she's
into
dragging down
Hollywood's
your
most
whole
famous
image,
cuckold.
all
But
your
after he
aura.
pimp smacked Chris Rock at the Oscars for his cheating wife's honor, he lost all respect from his fans. But when he thought it couldn't get any worse, it did, as recently one of Will Smith's former employees just sued them and accused them of some very disturbing things. Now the question is, will Will Smith be the next one to go out like Diddy? Well, by the end of this video, you will learn why that is definitely a possibility. Hey guys, I hope all is well.
What was
Welcome
that
back to
post?
The Truth Is, where I drop new videos exposing the truth weekly. In today's episode, we will be talking about the recent Will Smith lawsuit. Let's get right into it. Will Smith's downfall needs to be studied. He was once one of the biggest stars in Hollywood, loved by all. But now, he's nothing but a meme in an internet locale. These recent allegations aren't helping his case at all. Recently, Will Smith has been hit with a new lawsuit that was filed by a former employee accusing him of sexual harassment and grooming. This whole incident started back in December, when this man posted this video on his social media account. The man was Brian King Joseph, a musician who worked on Will Smith's recent 2025 tour. The violinist posted this coded video where he claimed that he experienced harassment while working on the tour of what he called a huge artist in the industry.
Hey everybody, I just wanted to talk about something really important. Earlier this year, I was hired to be a performer on a major tour with somebody who is huge in the industry. So I was excited, proud of myself for getting the opportunity. Unfortunately, some things happened, and I can't get into the details of exactly what that was, because it's already a legal issue right now.
He had to flex with the link, with the link chain. You know what I mean? Focus though, not the time.
But the reason why I'm speaking out about this is because getting fired or getting blamed or shamed or threatened or anything like that simply for reporting sexual misconduct or safety threats at work,
I deserve that,
is not okay. And I know that there's a lot of other people out there who have been afraid to speak up, and I understand. And if that's you, I see you. And that's pretty much it. More updates to come soon,
At the time, this didn't really get any attention.
You know what I do like though, y'all? TikTok got me addicted to watching videos in 2x speed. I'm gonna speed it up a little bit, just a little. Just talking about. If you can't follow it, okay, he is talking a little fast. But if you can't follow it and you don't like it, comment, and let me know.
Really have a big following, so the video didn't get that many views. But everything changed just a few weeks later when Brian ended up filing a lawsuit against Will Smith and his production company. At the beginning of the year, Brian filed a lawsuit against Will Smith and his company Trey Ball Studios, alleging sexual harassment, wrongful termination, and predatory behavior. The lawsuit claimed that Will Smith hired Brian for his 2025 tour back in 2024. According to Brian, not long after Will hired him, he quickly started to get close to him. The lawsuit claims Smith spent an unusual amount of time alone with Joseph after hiring him in late 2024. Smith reportedly told Joseph they had a special connection that he did not have with anyone else. At the time, Brian didn't think anything of this, and likely found it flattering, but he quickly realized there were sinister intentions behind this unusual amount of love. This realization came during one of the nights of the tour. In March 2025, while in a stop in Las Vegas for the tour, Joseph returned to his hotel room, which had been booked by Smith's team. When he entered his room, he quickly found out someone had been in the room without his permission. At first, he thought to himself maybe someone broke in, but there was no signs of forced entry. But earlier that day, Joseph's bag containing his room key had allegedly been lost by tour management, which could explain how someone would have gotten into his room. Inside the room, Joseph found a collection of items he interpreted as sexual threats of violence, including wipes, a beer bottle, a red backpack, an earring, hospital discharge paperwork for a stranger, and a bottle of HIV medications with another person's name. A handwritten note was also left reading, "Brian, I'll be back no later than 5:30, just us," with a drawn heart. Brian took this letter as someone telling him they were going to come back to the room and have his way with them. So after seeing this, Joseph reported the incident to
Hold on. All of it is crazy. All of it is crazy. I want to start out. All of it is crazy. HIV medicine? What type of threat is that? What are you gonna? I'd be fucking terrified.
Security, a local police non-emergency line, and Smith's representatives. The hotel staff then reviewed the camera footage and confirmed that only members of Will Smith's management team had been seen coming in and out of the room, meaning that no one broke in. It was someone inside of Will Smith's team. This is when Brian confronted Will Smith's management about the situation. According to the suit, instead of investigating his claims, a member of the management team shamed him, accused him of lying, and fired him days later. He was told the tour was moving in a different direction, though he was quickly replaced by another violinist. Joseph claimed in a lawsuit that the sequence of events from beginning to end points to a pattern of predatory behavior intended to groom and prime him for further exploitation. He's basically accusing Will Smith of trying to break him into the industry, as it's a well-known rumor that many of these male celebrities have to give up their manhood to climb the ranks in the industry. Brian believes...
I've been hearing more of that. I'm disappointed. I'm gonna be honest. But I shouldn't be. I should be disappointed that I even had hope. Because it's been a thing where it's like, you know, only when I was young was it like, oh, everybody in the industry, like, not everybody in the industry, but like celebrities are so cool and they're so whatever and they're not so cool. A lot of them. I'm not gonna say all. I'm not gonna say all. But a lot of them are not so cool. A lot of them do a lot of crazy. Boy, Alexa, boy. Every possibility of what, dude? What, dude? Because there's no men in this house. Maybe a TMI for y'all. Don't break in, because I do got like. But there's no men in this house. So what the fuck was that? But I forgot Alexa did change her voice. All right. That threw me off. What was I talking about? The industry is full of people we don't know. They do a lot of crazy things behind the scenes. Money makes people do real crazy things sometimes, including giving up their masculinity to get that next level, giving up their body in whatever form, keeping secrets, doing weird shit. Y'all know Diddy.
Will Smith was...
He just the face, though. All of that shit goes on. You saw all the people around him that y'all thought was cool, that was really keeping their mouth shut about stuff like this. Okay? I just knocked my mic loose.
Grooming him since the day he hired him to have his way with him. If Brian had allowed it, he would have made it to a higher level within the industry. This is exactly what happened to Rodney Jones, aka Little Rod. A few years back, Diddy hired Little Rod to work as a producer and engineer for his Love album. Just like Brian accused Will Smith of getting close just to groom him, Little Rod said Diddy did the same thing to him, inviting him to party with him, spending a lot of time with him alone, and eventually grooming him to participate in intimate acts with other men. Little Rod even claimed Diddy ordered Young Miami's cousin to perform intimate acts on him in front of Diddy, but Little Rod refused. Things got to a whole nother level of strange when he claims that he woke up in a bed and Diddy was lying right next to him. Little Rod also claims that Diddy told him this was normal and a part of the industry, and if he wanted to make it to the next level, he was gonna have to be down with that. This is exactly what I believe Smith was allegedly trying to do to Brian, and he picked up on it fast. Will Smith got close to him to make him feel special and important, like they were building a connection. When Brian began to trust him, he brought his guards down and tempted him by leaving the note in the room. They were likely going to break him in that day and get him ready for Will Smith, who was likely going to
even share a world
him
with.
Into the club.
It's crazy the shit that they do.
If Brian had not reacted that way and allowed whatever weird acts they wanted to do to him, he would have been rewarded. But instead, he spoke out and got fired. Brian is now suing for compensation for wrongful termination, grooming, and harassment that left him with PTSD. Will's team eventually responded to the allegations.
Even if
his team gave this statement in response to the lawsuit. Mr.
Like
Joseph's allegations concerning my client are false, baseless, and reckless. They are categorically denied, and we will use all legal means available to address these claims and to ensure that the truth is brought to the light. This is the same generic response.
Because judges and everybody that you think is there to, you know what I'm saying, ensure that everything is rightfully done can get paid off too. So it's like, you know,
once they all give. Diddy said the same thing when Cassie sued them, only to pay her tens of millions of dollars the day after. Diddy denied ever abusing Cassie, only for a video to surface of him doing just that in a hotel lobby. These lawyers don't even try to come up with a better response.
Literally.
They all just say the same thing. Now, besides this lawsuit accusing Will Smith of grooming and harassment, it's also basically claiming that Will likes men, which isn't a new allegation when it comes to Will Smith. In November 2023, Will Smith's former personal assistant claimed in an interview that he witnessed Smith and actor Dwayne Martin engage in intimate acts. The assistant did an interview with Tasha K where he exposed everything.
You see the hundreds of celebrities that I've done business with, done things with, and during the latter years of our relationship, Will was not my friend. I was his friend. I could tell you what goes on the inside. Everybody else is just speculation. And then I've saw acts. that I walked in on.
Who'd you walk in? What the fuck is this
It was
music?
Dwayne Martin. Door to Dwayne's dressing room, and that's when I see Dwayne.
It's got a weird twang.
That's what Will. There was a couch, and Will was bent over on the couch, and Dwayne was standing up, killing, like murder. It was there.
After his assistant made these allegations, a representative for Smith called the story completely fabricated. Jada Pinkett Smith also dismissed the claims as ridiculous and nonsense, suggesting the individual was attempting a money shakedown. The Smiths indicated their intentions to pursue legal actions for defamation, but it didn't seem like they ever did. Clearly, it seems Will Smith is like Diddy. He secretly plays on both teams. Just like we saw with Diddy, it seems Will Smith might be grooming those who work for him and then trying to have his way with them as a price for his support. Now, honestly, I am not surprised.
There is a clip going around on TikTok right now of his son. It's an old clip, and he's like, this is probably out of context, but it's not helping his case. Okay, it's an old clip, and his son is like, oh yeah, like when my dad used to drop me off at school or something, like he would just pull his pants down. Like, I don't know. That's all I seen. Like I said, that can be completely out of context.
At all about any of this. If you know the history of how Will Smith got into Hollywood in the first place, you would understand that these allegations aren't far-fetched. According to Will Smith, before the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, even though he was a successful rapper, he still was struggling financially. He spent all of his money on luxurious items and then dropped an album that ended up flopping. While he managed to make a lot of money, he didn't pay his taxes, so he then ended up owing the IRS money for unpaid taxes. Smith was in a tough spot and needed a big opportunity to save his career. During these days, Will was quoted saying, "We released our next album and it was like a flop. It was a tragedy. It went like double plastic. I have spent all my money and I didn't forget, but I didn't pay the IRS. In my mind, I wasn't trying to like avoid taxes. I was just like, ah, damn, they need their money. The IRS took all the stuff, so I was like broke. Being famous and broke is a messed up combination because you're still famous and people recognize you, but they recognize you while sitting next to them on the bus. Will Smith was going through it. He was famous but broke and owed back taxes, a recipe for a disaster. All this would change one night when he met Benny Medina, the creator of the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, who was in the middle of trying to get the show greenlit. Will and Benny hit it off, and he would end up inviting him to Quincy Jones' birthday party. Quincy Jones was the man who would be able to make this show possible, as he was the executive with the power and Hollywood connections. At this private Hollywood party was where Will Smith's life would change forever, but it is rumored it came at a very dark price. According to Will, when Benny introduced him to Quincy, he was excited to meet him since he was a big fan. The moment he saw Will, he cleared out the party and told him to audition for the Fresh Prince role right there and then at the party. Will did just that and earned the role that very night. But it is rumored Will did way more than just audition for this role. It is rumored this is when Will went through his initiation ritual and had to please Quincy Jones at the party to be able to get the role. It is actually alleged by many in the industry that not only did Quincy turn Will gay, but that he also did the same to Tupac, but that's a different story for another day. What makes things even more disturbing is that Benny Medina, who is now a big time...
This is what I'm talking about. It's a sick thing to even share a world with this fucking industry, bro. This shit is trifling. This shit they make niggas do. I'm not saying the act within itself is nasty, but like a ritual, an initiation, to get farther, they gotta do these things. Like, that's weird.
Music and Hollywood manager was accused of R-wording two men. One man that pressed charges against them back in 2004, but ended up passing away suspiciously after fighting the charges. Another man, Jason Dotley, an actor, accused Benny of R-wording him back in 2008 in a Hollywood mansion party, just like it's rumored they did to Will Smith at the Hollywood party. According to Dotley, he met Medina on the day that the alleged incident occurred around late December 2008, when he was at the Abbey in West Hollywood. Medina approached them and started making conversations, ultimately inviting them to his house.
Big as shit.
Dotley claims Medina grabbed him and pushed him onto the bed, telling him he was going to be his.
He could hear too much.
He pleaded to let him go because he was married, but it didn't seem like he cared. Think about it. Medina was the man that gave Will his second chance and got him into Hollywood when his career was over. The man who made Will a star when he was on the way out of the industry. Looking at pictures of the two, you see that Medina seemed way too interested in Will. Considering Medina's past allegations, I wouldn't be surprised if the rumors were true. It would also explain where Will Smith learned this behavior from. Will was groomed, so now he grooms others. This is the name of the game. This is how Hollywood operates.
Literally,
Will
it's the
deep
whole
into the dark
cycle
side of Hollywood. It's how he ended up at the Church of Scientology. While Will Smith claims he was never a member of Scientology, there is tons of evidence that he was. Besides being seen at Scientology events where he was honored by the group, Will Smith was also exposed for creating schools that literally taught children the doctrines of the Church of Scientology, which, if you know anything about the true origins of the cult, you would know it's literally molded after the dark teachings of the occultist Aleister Crowley. The son of the creator of the organization himself admitted this.
Leave the church because of these allegations, these things that you... A whole wide variety of reasons. It isn't a very simple answer. I left because my wife wanted me to, and also because I wasn't making any money, because all the money flows, of course, to my father always has. I was also tired of the fraud and the deception, plus his deep involvement in personal use of drugs on himself and others, black magic. When you say black magic, what are you talking about?
All right, she's asking the right questions. W reporter.
It sounds just absolutely unbelievable. What are you talking about when you say this? Well, the funny thing is that the actual truth is about as far out as Scientology itself. Really, the basis of Scientology, which is rather hidden and covered over, is the occult, the deep involvement with satanic powers. That he felt that he was deeply involved with a British black magician called Aleister Crowley, and through putting himself in deep hypnotic trances and the use of drugs on himself, he wanted to become the most powerful being.
This is what Will Smith is a part of. This is what's behind the strange ways. This is why I don't think these allegations are false at all. I honestly believe Will Smith is just like the other gatekeepers in the industry.
We went from Will Smith to dark magic. I'm confused.
This industry is truly wicked.
I'm confused. Why is everybody's ears so big? My ear's big. Maybe that's why I'm covering them.
They exist simply to destroy. I believe that's exactly what they were trying to do to Brian King Joseph. Well, I'm gonna end this one here. I want to thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.
Then they ain't gonna do this happy ass outro after just dropping all of that. Yeah. So don't idolize nobody. Don't idolize. These are all people living on Earth, if they are people at that. But they definitely don't need idolization. When you start getting to that point of like, oh, they think they're everything. They're so whatever. You're making fan pages. Like, fan pages are cool. I've ran fan pages for, well, they're not real, but I ran one fan page in my life. All right, I'm not gonna say who, but it was a character animated, so this doesn't really count. But running a fan page is fine, but just don't get to thinking like, you know what I mean, that these are above you, that these are like gods, and they're so, you know what I mean, like chill. All right, these people probably don't deserve all the devotion that you are trying to give them, and are probably doing some foul shit behind the scenes. So, yep, that's Will Smith for you. You know what I'm saying? He on the Diddy route. Like I said, Diddy was just the face. He was just the face, and my camera turned off. All right, yep.